Hello everyone, it's Matt here. What happens when you cross a vehicle that looks like this with something that looks like this? Well, today we're going to find out. And this is a rather peculiar looking little wheeled vehicle designed for Dutch use and made by IVECO. And IVECO have made a lot of military platforms before. I've actually utilized an IVECO platform in the British Army. It was classified as a tracked vehicle, which was kind of interesting due to its size and its visibility. But this thing is a behemoth. It's a 7-ton chassis on the IVECO Daily, which is basically a van that is quite commonly used in the logistics world or transport world for the civilian sector. And I have to admit, the Netherlands make some pretty unique equipment, and this one is certainly unique, particularly in its look and the fact that it has been built upon the 7-ton IVECO Daily. Now, it is unusual for me to talk about a platform like this because most of my content talks about heavy-duty equipment, tanks, armored fighting vehicles, and even in wheeled configurations, a little bit more of a well-known platform. But that's why I want to talk about this unique little cargo special forces vehicle here, because it is one of those vehicles you don't know much about, and it's kind of hidden in the plethora of wheeled vehicles out there. And I actually am quite intrigued by it. It is but ugly, I have to admit. It is an extremely ugly looking vehicle, but who cares? If it does what it needs to do, then so be it. It's not meant to look pretty and sleek and, all sort of tactical. It does what it needs to do, and being that it is a flexible 4x4, as you can see here, has a lot of capacity to lift and pull what it needs to do. Special forces and marines that are being used by the Dutch certainly are going to capitalize on this platform quite heavily, and we're going to go into a bit of a deep dive to it today. So the DMV Anaconda's inception traces back to 2018 when the Dutch Military Vehicles, or DMV, a subsidiary of DB Bejaardenwagen BV, recognized the need for a modern, adaptable light tactical vehicle for the Royal Netherlands Marine Corps. Collaborating with IVECO Defence Vehicles, DMV aimed to create a platform that could operate efficiently in diverse environments, from urban settings to rugged terrains. The result was the Anaconda, a vehicle combining commercial reliability of that van, basically, with military-grade performance. Built upon the sturdy IVECO Daily 4x4 chassis, the DMV Anaconda boasts a gross vehicle weight of 7 tons and a payload capacity of up to 3.7 tons. That is a lot of weight for a 4x4 to be carrying, which is why it's very suitable for special forces or marines to capture all their heavy-duty equipment, whether it be anti-tank guns, heavy machine guns, or just their equipment they're pulling into battle, making it very suitable for various missions. Its dimensions are approximately 5.27 meters in length and 2.26 meters in width. With a 2.27 meters in height, it provides a fairly compact yet spacious platform. The vehicle is powered by a 3-litre IVECO F1C diesel engine, delivering 180 horsepower with 430 Nm of torque, paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. This setup enables the Anaconda to reach speeds of up to 110 km an hour and offer a range of 1,000 kilometers. It holds a lot of fuel, folks, and if you're carrying additional fuel, it even goes further, of course, with the extended range. And this is very important for reconnaissance or special missions, which this vehicle is clearly going to be used for bringing specialized equipment or even casualties in and out of environments that most heavy-duty vehicles would normally not be able to do so. The Anaconda's open architecture allows for extensive customization to meet specific mission requirements. Now, there's a lot of discussion about a light utility vehicle here used in Canada and other countries that's getting a lot of discussion on the defense sector world, and I unfortunately can't talk too heavily about it because of my social media policy, but I will be doing a video on it in the future. But a lot of people debate about open concept vehicles. Basically, open architecture means there's no real windows, it's allowing you to go in and out of the vehicle quickly, and it's completely exposed to the elements. And I have to admit, I'm not a major fan myself. Special forces and recon elements probably would completely disagree with me, but I'm not one of those people. I like being in an enclosed environment. I've been to Afghanistan. I know what happens when you have open-top vehicles, particularly with IEDs, etc. It's just not a good time. I've seen the results, and it's horrifying. However, with a vehicle like this, it does allow for multiple weapon mounts that are easily accessible, including a roof-mounted ring capable of accommodating various weapon systems such as 7.62mm and 12.7mm machine guns, and even grenade machine guns. as well as anti-tank weapons like the Spike missile system integrated to the electronics of this vehicle. This flexibility ensures the vehicle can be tailored for roles ranging from reconnaissance to direct combat engagements or long-range interdiction. Designed for that versatility and modular. I love how angry everyone gets when I say modular on this channel. I think I'm actually going to have to make a meme video of modular and find every modular vehicle I can find and just put them all together and just voice over the saying modular, modular, modular. I just love reading the comments and seeing people hate the word modular. Anyway, the Anaconda is equipped with a permanent 4x4 wheel system, central front and rear lockable differentials, and an independent front suspension with torsion bars. These features grant it exceptional off-road capabilities, allowing it to navigate challenging terrains with ease, particularly steep slopes. The vehicle's design also facilitates very rapid deployment with options for fully open, partially enclosed, or completely enclosed configurations to suit various operational needs, which goes against a little bit about what I said with it being not to be, fully enclosed, but I think the majority of setups for this particular vehicle are going to be partially or open, because to have a fully enclosed vehicle, there'd be other platforms that you probably want to set up in this kind of configuration that's a little bit better for protection and armor needs, because if you're going to fully enclose a vehicle, why would you not create something that's a little bit more armored? Otherwise, you're just doing it to keep crew safety in the lowest end of the preference and more sort of crew comfort, like heating or cooling. And that's really not what you're going to be caring so much for when it comes to combat environments, particularly with Dutch Marines or Special Forces. Since its introduction, the DMV Anaconda has been actively utilised by the Royal Netherlands Marine Corps heavily. The initial batch of 46 vehicles were delivered in early 2019, and it's been utilised very heavily with deployments primarily in the Dutch Caribbean territories of Curaçao, Aruba, and Sint Maarten. The Anaconda has proven its reliability and effectiveness in these operations, with disaster relief efforts to tactical missions, showcasing it's very adaptable and robust in real-world scenarios, which I kind of love about this vehicle. It does look a little quirky, a little awkward, but it's doing what it needs to do. The Dutch Marines actually are really enjoying utilizing this particular platform, and I think it's really cool to see that. It's cool to see something that's been brought from the civilian sector. No one really talks about it much, and it's being used by their Marine Corps. That's a big deal. And the development has seen continuous enhancements to meet the evolving military demands. Notably, they produced the Anaconda Special Operations Forces, or SOF variant, which was introduced quite recently, featuring a fully open design for rapid ingress and egress, and compatibility with various mission-specific equipment, particularly reconnaissance equipment or specialized weapons. This variant underscores DMV's commitment to providing specialized solutions for elite units, ensuring that they have the tools necessary for successful operations. This is not a cookie-cutter platform. They're not trying to mass-produce this for an entire army. They are literally going to the users and saying, what do you want to see? What do you need? We'll make it happen. That is pretty freaking cool. There's not a lot of defense manufacturers in such a tightly based, customizable setting that are going to say, we are going to do everything you want from this platform. Tell us what you want and we'll do it. And that's what they're doing. You don't see that often. It's normally some form of compromise left somewhere. But when you have such a small military, and let's be honest, the Netherlands doesn't have a gigantic military, but they do have a very specific and specialized force, which personally I think what Canada should be doing. Maybe not this particular platform, but I do think there is a lot of opportunity to look at defense manufacturers that can make things very specific and tailored to the needs of a country. For instance, here in Canada, very specific Arctic warfare equipment that doesn't need to be capitalized across the globe. We need vehicles that host to defend our northern territories, and this is what the Netherlands are kind of looking for. What do their special forces actually need? And when operating the DMV Anaconda, they require a very well-trained crew, typically consisting of a very experienced driver and additional personnel depending on the mission profile. Now, this video was actually specifically requested from one of my followers who actually utilizes the DMV Anaconda, so thank you for the shout out. I'm not going to mention their name for specific reasons, but they gave me a lot of information that was quite interesting, and their training programs are intense, particularly the focus on vehicle handling. They put these things through the ringer. Now, I've been on driving courses before, but from some of the tests that have been put onto the drivers of these vehicles, it's no messing around, and I'd actually be terrified in trying to handle one of these things in the way in which this particular viewer or follower is telling me how he has to go through the training. It's fairly intense, guys. We're not talking about going through little ditches, we're talking about embankments that are nasty degrees of kind of incline. We're talking about hills that are going up, knife edging with a full load with troops on board, and then going as fast as you possibly can back down, airdrops, you name it, this thing has gone through it, and the testing for these drivers is no joke. The maintenance and also tactical deployment of these vehicles is focused on very heavily, and this maximizes the Anaconda's capabilities. Like any vehicle, it doesn't matter how good it is, if you don't make operators and users of it well trained, they're useless, and the training on this platform is really heavy duty, and I really respect that. We don't do enough training on vehicles, particularly in large-scale militaries that are centralized on that vehicle. For the most part, there's not enough time, or they're broadened into the bigger battle picture, and therefore there's a lot of other waiting around and waiting for other battle groups or echelons to catch up. With these vehicles, they're very autonomous, they're on their own, they're left to their own devices, and therefore there's a lot of emphasis on user-friendliness, how the vehicle works, how it links to the driver, the commander, and how they can actually use this vehicle to the maximum potential it could be. And that can bring some dangerous training reliabilities that you may need to actually get used to, because at the end of the day, if you're not efficient in operating it, even in high-pressure situations, you're going to have a useless vehicle. So I really respect that when they train people on these vehicles, they go hardcore. Looking ahead, the DMV Anaconda is poised to remain a vital asset within most of their military fleets. Ongoing developments aim to enhance its modularity, and protection levels with add-on armor and integration of advanced communication systems. As warfare and operational requirements evolve, the Anaconda's adaptability will ensure, I think, that it continues to meet a lot of challenges of future missions, and a lot of you are probably screaming at the screen again like you always do. Well, a $50 drone could take this thing out. Guys, you gotta stop. You got to remember that these platforms are the ones probably launching the drones and looking for positions and engagements, because they can host probably 20 drones on the back of this thing with 2 or 3 operators and go all day with that 1,000-kilometer range. And they're providing very reliable performance across a spectrum of scenarios and terrain. But what do you think? Do you think the DMV Anaconda is just a butt-ugly, chunky little van that's been turned into something painted green and to look nice? I would completely disagree, but I have had some discussions with some of my friends about this platform, because I've kind of said, hey, do you think Canada would utilize this? I don't think so. In snowy terrains, I think this thing would struggle. A lot of kind of debate came from them as well about it not being V-shaped, right? It is very prone to IEDs or mine strikes. This is something, as I said, in Afghanistan, really didn't enjoy seeing open-top vehicles being used in a flat basis. We did have the Jackal vehicles that came in a little bit later into the tour there. Did a little bit better, but was still, once again, open-topped. You were seat-belted in there with, blast-resistant seats, but at the end of the day, you are open to the elements and open to fire. But in a small arms situation, you're probably going to be in a little bit of danger. But you've also got to remember, in terms of, as I said, drones and artillery from above is really going to cause some real havoc for these vehicles. But hopefully, the special forces that are using them aren't going to be detectable or moving so sneakily or proficient in utilizing the vehicles that they're not going to have to worry about stuff like that. But let me know in the comments section what you think of this platform. Of course, if you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button, and if you aren't new to the channel, make sure you click the bell, because it gives you updates to when I do release new videos on latest military technology. If you want to see new content or, vehicles that you want to see, make sure you drop a like and also give me a little comment in the comment section below so I can kind of tailor my content to what you want to see. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting me financially on, super chats in the comment section or through Patreon and PayPal. It really does mean a lot to me, and I hope to see you in the next video. All the best, folks. Bye-bye.